So as Kirk already mentioned, I am Kristen, this is Michelle. We are the co-directors of SEEDS. We stepped into our roles as co-directors a little over 1 year ago in January of 2024. Prior to that, Michelle and I had served on the board as board president and vice president, and then our board approached us about hiring us, and so that's when we stepped off of the board and into our roles. And it has been a gift and a blessing and a learning curve and all of the above, and we are just so grateful to be doing this in this community. So first off, thank you to Faith Church. You guys have been incredible to us. First and foremost, as it says, the use of this building space. Pretty much all of our programming has been done out of this space, coordinating around other churches, other nonprofits, other programs. So we are just so grateful that in that time, we did not have to pay for rent. You guys blessed us in many ways, so thank you.
And volunteers, can you raise your hand if you volunteered with SEEDS at all in our 3 years we've been here? Yeah, see, thank you guys so much. This has been transportation, this has been childcare, teaching in our English classes, providing meals, and so volunteers are the backbone of everything that happens with SEEDS, and we are incredibly grateful for the way that Faith Church has been a big part of those volunteers.
You have also blessed us just in the last Christmas holiday through our new holiday support program, sponsoring families that are unhoused, living in hotels, or doubled up in our community. And so you took tags off of a Christmas tree out there and you bought gifts for children in need, and that was a huge help, so thank you.
And your prayer. We're incredibly grateful for your prayer. We need your prayers regularly. We need them all the time, and without them, we don't have the backing of your support and of your care, and so we're incredibly grateful for your regular prayers for Kristen, for myself, for our community, and for SEEDS as an organization.
So the SEEDS vision statement, as you can see up there, is that our goal is to cultivate a healthy and thriving Conestoga Valley community. And we do that through our mission statement, which is enriching lives by connecting our community to housing resources, educational supports, and health services. So you will see that all of our programming fits under one of those three categories. We are forever open to partnerships. We are forever open to pivoting and changing. If a program isn't working anymore or our community is evolving, we are always open to just kind of the Lord's leading in any of those three areas. So what we want to share with you first and foremost are our core values with SEEDS. So the first S, and you'll see it's an acronym, and that's how we got the word SEEDS, which works out so perfectly. We spent a lot of time praying. I mean, we're talking years coming up with a name, because we wanted the name to last, and we wanted it to also represent who we are. And we do feel like we're a little bit of a seed in the community, in that we gather resources and we plant them in our community, and then they grow. So we just love the model of that. So our first S in SEEDS is that selfless love. We desire to love and serve all people as we follow the example of Jesus. That is the first and foremost of why we do what we do. The second one is empowerment. We desire to make resources and tools available for all people to flourish. Our second E is equity. We desire to serve everyone regardless of religion, ethnicity, race, gender, sexuality, or political affiliation. Our D is deliberate partnership. We desire to build intentionally collaborative relationships in our community. We do not have it figured out, nor will we ever have it figured out. And there are many others doing great work already in our community that know what they're doing in their area. We don't need to reinvent that. We just need to partner with them, and we need to bring that into our community, which feels like it's working smarter, not harder in a lot of ways. And then our final S is stewardship. We desire to honor the value and giftedness of all people. So the overall theme that you will just hear over and over again, both in song choice and then in our message, is this concept of selfless love, which was our selfless love and our core values. Philippians 2, 3, and 4 tells us, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Do not look to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others." We thought it would be important to give you a little bit of a glimpse into our Conestoga Valley community. So I'm going to read some of the numbers to you, but our community is changing. It looks a lot different than even 20 years ago, and that's not a bad thing. But we need to continue to see that change and then pivot and work through that and figure out programming related to those changes. So you can see that in our community, 48% of people are classified as Caucasian or white, 23.7% are Hispanic. We have an unclassified and a multi-diverse population of 8.6 and 7%. We have Black and African American at 7.7%, Asian at 4.7%, and then continuing down, American Indian, Pacific Islander. Those are pretty small percentages in our community. Another statistic we thought was important to share with you is that 41%, that's not terribly far from half of all kids in the Conestoga Valley School District qualify for free and reduced lunch. So you have to fit into a certain income bracket in order to qualify for that free and reduced lunch. And we are at 41% in Conestoga Valley. So that just gives you a glimpse of the need. And so another important fact about our diversity is that we have 36 native languages represented in our culture, or in our community. So that's just 36. That's incredibly diverse. It's an incredibly beautiful thing. And you'll hear from Michelle some of the programming that has evolved out of that.
So housing resources, as Kristen shared, our core values and our three things, we're going to break down a little bit what our three kind of focus groups are and some of the programs we have underneath that, keeping in mind that selfless love. And then we'll talk a little bit more about that again at the end. So currently, right now, there have been 198 Conestoga Valley children who have been designated and identified as homeless so far this school year. 176 was the total of last year. That's not maybe all currently still homeless, but at some point during this year, this far, that has been their designation. And so that number includes current CV students as well as CV students who have younger siblings. They are part of that number. Once they're 18, they're not counted as part of that number. And so where are these children? They are living in hotels, they are doubled up with other families, or they are living in shelter. I can't click, can I? I can't click and hold my glasses. I got you. So since January 2024, 58 adults or families struggling with these housing needs have been referred to us, to SEEDS. We are doing that again in partnership with the factory ministries. When they get phone calls and it's someone who lives in the CV district, they will refer them to us. Through CrossNet Ministries, CVCCS, our CV social workers, we work hand in hand with them. People reach out to other churches and then they refer them to us. We get texts and emails from Chris, who gets calls in here and refer to us, and then people reach out just to us personally through email. So of that number, 30 of them, we have helped, SEEDS has helped with their physical or financial needs. And so what does that look like? That might look like an electric bill. That might look like a hotel bill. Maybe they are transitioning from one job to another and they're short at the end of the month to make that hotel bill. Maybe their car broke down and that's a big repair and then they can't make some sort of bill, and so they can reach out to us for help with that. We have a community care fund with SEEDS and people have given specifically to that fund, and that goes to help with these needs. How we do that, I talk with them, I meet with them, we connect again with the CV social workers. We utilize something called Empower Lancaster, which is a Lancaster County database, basically, that someone, when they call into 211 or when they are talking to Tenfold or CrossNet Ministries or any of these other organizations, their information gets put in there so we can see how long have they been homeless, what other groups are they already working with, so we can coordinate with those other groups. So we're really doing a holistic care as best as we can. So we're grateful for that tool that we have. So yeah, one of the things that we love is just SEEDS personally. There's other groups that are doing other things, but we've been able to help this past year 5 CV families move out of hotels and into homes. And so that looks different with each one of these families. Sometimes it is us helping with the security deposit. It's expensive to live in a hotel. These are hardworking families. It is, $550 a week to live in a hotel, so they are covering that and able to cover that. But then it's hard to get together that security deposit. You need a first month's and a last month's rent, security deposit. You need some good money to put down for something. So for some of these families, SEEDS then can help with that security deposit out of that community care fund. Sometimes it is helping with furniture. Kristen heads that area up. We have a storage space over by Zion Lutheran Church where people donate furniture and household goods. And if you're living in a hotel and moving into an apartment and you were able to figure out how to get into there, but you don't actually have anything to move into there oftentimes. And so with that, Kristen can hook them up with dishes, with pots and pans, with a sofa, with different things that have been donated to help them get their start. Refreshing Recreation is a new program that we are starting. We had our first one this past May. This is May. We had our first one this past Saturday. Couple Saturdays. And this is specifically for our families who are living in hotels or who are living in shelter because they don't have a yard, they can't get out as much, and that's tough. So Zion Lutheran has a gym, and they are partnering with us in this program that we partner specifically for the families who are in transitional living. They're living in a hotel. It's not where they want their permanent space to be. And one Saturday a month, we provide a breakfast, a meal, there's basketball there, all kinds of things like that, transportation if they need it to arrive. And from 10 to 12, they can hang out in the gym. We learned at our last one that in June, it is this one little guy's birthday, so we learned his favorite cake, and we will have a party for him when we're there. So we're excited about Refreshing Recreation.
Continuing with our selfless love theme, 1 Corinthians 10:24 says, let each of you look not to your own things, but to the things of others. In October, just this past fall of 2024, we became partners with East Lampeter Township. Some of you might have read about that in the newspaper. We've also shared about it different times. So as outreach workers with the township, we are connecting personally with those that are unhoused in the Conestoga Valley community, specifically in East Lampeter Township. And so that partnership is additional hours than what we are currently working with SEEDS. It's up to 2 hours a week per person. And so when someone does reach out to us and is living in a hotel that is in East Lampeter, that connects directly to this role for Michelle. She connects with them, tries to help them out, figure out their resources that are needed, and to just kind of partner with them. We've also begun sharing with you a little bit about the Bridgeport housing project that is coming up. So just to give you a small summary of what that looks like, the Forest Hills Mennonite Church over in Leola has a group of individuals that kind of put together the financing to purchase the property in Bridgeport along Route 462. There's currently a single family house and a garage apartment on that property. We have partnered with Chestnut Housing, and then SEEDS and Bridge of Hope, which is another nonprofit, will come alongside Chestnut Housing. Chestnut Housing will do the actual building project with a goal of 12 to 15 apartments going on that lot, which is incredible. It will be a space that will be specifically used for low-income housing. It will not be transitional housing. It will be the goal of that someone will move in there and stay there. And then the part where SEEDS and Bridge of Hope come in is that we will walk alongside the families living in those units. So we will connect them to the different resources. We will just be a neighbor, be a friend, be whatever that family needs to help them to thrive and to grow. And the really, really cool thing about this location is many of you know SEEDS just got our own location, moving out of Faith Church to a property along 462 also. And so it is on the same side of the road as this building project, probably less than a mile. So that is just great as far as if someone had to walk, they could even walk. It's doable. And so that just feels like a gift, sort of, that we were not expecting even in our office change.
Educational supports. This is one of our other pillars. So, did you know, you did know because we just told you, right, that in Conestoga Valley School District there's 36 different home languages represented. So here's the stats for you, and this is just showing the high school, not showing the entire district. We got this from the high school. And so, yes, last year there was 97 Ls, we say Ls, which is our English learners, at CV High School, and this year 126. And then you can just see the difference there as well, just in the whole school district on the other side. So 24% of all the new enrollees at the CV High School this past year have been Ls, have been English learners. So part of that, I wanted to just share you some of the countries. So we have new neighbors from Ukraine, from Russia, from Venezuela, from Uzbekistan, from Afghanistan, from Syria, from Cuba, from Ecuador, from many, many more. And so the gift is getting to know these new neighbors. Real quick before we hit this, I wanted to just tell you a couple things about our new neighbors. So when they arrive here, their degrees that they have in their home countries do not transfer. And so these are new neighbors who previously had been bankers, had been industrial engineers, had been paralegals, had master's degrees in all kinds of things, doctors, nurses, but they arrive here and none of that has transferred. And so one of the hardest things for them then is to learn English so that then they can begin to work towards having some of those things transfer. The families, when they come, the children get English at school, but the parents then do not have the same access to parent-teacher conferences and understanding it, to reading the paperwork, to how do I sign my kid up for sports, to just feeling a part of community. And so we do offer these English language classes, and as many of you know, trying to remove every barrier in the way to getting to them. So childcare, a meal, transportation, the classes for free. And for sure they're about English, but they're very, very, very much more than that. They're about community, they're about relationship, they're about connecting. So here's a quick video from one of our volunteers about why she volunteers.
I'm Audrey McClune, and I teach English classes once a week for SEEDS. I think that it's been really eye-opening just to see the struggles that people who don't have English as their first language face, and just all of the overwhelming obstacles that they face when they come to a country. And I imagine myself in that position and how hard it would be. So that's why I like, at least helping in some small way.
When I think of reasons why people should get involved with SEEDS, one of the things that I am reminded of is how much our volunteers have found joy and have found community and what they have learned. I love that people start thinking that they're going to be helping someone, but they themselves end up learning so much and finding such joy and finding new community and friends, as they also are helping and walking alongside some of their neighbors. But I love that it's a dual impact, which is what community should be.
Audrey, the volunteer highlighted in that video, has been with us from the start. And so it's just neat to see that many of our volunteers, once they kind of catch that bug of volunteering, they're eager to keep volunteering as their schedule allows them and as their family season allows them. And so we are just grateful. She happens to have an English teaching background. You do not need that to volunteer with us as a teacher. You just need to know our language, which everyone in this room does. But that is just a gift when someone like Audrey can give back in that way as a teacher. So continuing on with our selfless love theme, 1 Peter 3:8 tells us, finally, all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind. We also offer health services and continue to grow this area of what we do. One of the ways that we've grown in this area is through occupational therapy services. This is sort of an area that I tend to head up a little bit more. It is related a bit more to the children and to the teens in our community. So on the left-hand side of the screen is our Growing Seeds program. This past spring was our second session of that. You won't necessarily see a lot of publicity about that just because it's not necessarily open to the public. It's referred by school social workers. It's direct connections to families, but it's for those in our community that have children under the age of 4 and a parent that has that flexibility to be with them for the program, so the parent stays and comes with them. And we work directly with Elizabethtown College occupational therapists, and they basically provide the play group, and it's a wonderful learning experience. Occupational therapy, for those of you that do not know, it's basically any ways that can improve someone's way of living. So it could be through speech, it could be through physical therapy, it could be just any kind of barrier that could be broken down to help this child be prepared for learning and for life. And so this just aligns beautifully with our mission of partnership and breaking down barriers. The other program that we just are in our pilot year of doing this right now is at CV Middle School. As we were listening to the community, we were just hearing that those teenage years in that middle school age specifically is just, it's just hard. It's hard emotionally, it's hard maturity-wise, all of it. And so we are partnering with the CV Middle School this pilot year. We've worked directly with the school principal who has selected the students, and our goal is to grow it. But what we're doing is we're matching neurodiverse students, so many of them will fall on the autism spectrum, and they are matched with a typical learner. And so it's a buddy system where they are learning leadership skills, and they're also doing community service projects. So we're doing things like planting flowers outside the school space, or creating a trail mix that we are distributing to all the teachers and staff at the middle school, just things that are others-centered. And so, again, that is also in partnership with Elizabethtown College. We also just started in the last year a program called Movement Matters. This is designed for school social workers, teachers, admin. If they see that a student wants to participate in a sport, but they don't need, like they need sneakers, or they need help to register to be on a soccer team, and there's kind of that financial barrier or that like simple like shin guards and mouth guard or something, we have funding specifically set aside that they can reach out directly to us. We allow the child and parent to kind of choose what product they want, so that that's empowering and dignifying, and then that child is able to participate in that way.
One of the other things under health is that we were seeing with our ESL families that trauma from what they fled and what they saw before they arrived here, as well as arriving to a new country and a new whole community, was pretty intense. And so we've been praying and thinking about some way to connect with an art therapist where language is not as much of a barrier. And we got a grant from Millersville University that provided 20 sessions of an art therapist. And so we've been incredibly grateful for that. We had 6 sessions with the children in the fall, and then 8 sessions with the adults, with the parents during our winter months, and now we are just about to wrap up our 6 sessions with children during the spring classes. One of the projects that they've been doing is collage and sharing their story through collage, and then these final 6 sessions, the children are putting it together on a big Canva, and it will hang in our new space. So we're super excited. The kids designed it. They had to present their designs to us for our approval, like we were their clients. It was just a gift working with Anita, who ran this through Millersville. We're going to show you a quick video now from Jose. I want to tell you real quick about Jose. So Jose and his wife Yanni and their 2 kids arrived here from Venezuela. When we first met them, they had been here 3 weeks, and it was right before our initial, very first ever ESL program. They were one of 7 adults who were in our first program. They are a joy. All of these families are a joy, but there's this core group that we started with from the start who are a unique joy. We have watched, Yanni came in at beginner level. She's at level 3, she got her driver's license, and she's working at one of the elementary schools in the cafeteria. Jose is, they're a joy. And so it's a gift to know these families. So Jose's I just want to introduce him before you hear a little bit from him.
Hi, my name is Jose Herrera. I'm from Venezuela. I have been taking classes for 2 years. SEEDS helped me with improve my English skills was still learning, but they helped me a lot. Also, she connected my family with the community. For example, my kids want to go to play soccer, and she helped us to find a teacher for them. That's good. This is good for my family.
One of our partnerships we have is with Tech Centro, which is a free program in the city with all kinds of further education. And because we are a partner with them, if any of our participants wants to join, the wait lists are long because they're free. They jump to the top of the wait list. And so Jose and Yanni are both going to classes there, as well as other of our participants for their GEDs. They were bankers and worked incredibly high-paying, good jobs in their country before they had to flee, and now they're kind of starting at the basics. So getting their GED will be the next step to help them, and so we're incredibly grateful for these partnerships with community organizations.
We have big dreams. So a question that we're constantly asking is, what's next? As I shared briefly a little bit ago, we have our own space, which is like insanely amazing to us. As we met with our board back in January, it was a goal for 2026 to have a space, and this just kind of opened up. Michelle was driving by, saw a for lease sign. We connected with our realtor, toured it. The price was incredibly low compared to other places we had been looking at. For the amount of space that it offers in our direct community. And so we felt like there was wisdom in not waiting until 2026, but to just jump in and say, okay, God, you've provided, we need to just step this out in faith. And so we have our space, and we will actually have an open house. This is a little top secret information we're sharing with you. On August 8th, you are all invited. It'll be at the new space where you can come, you can check it out. We may end up having some other community partners there, things like that, just to make it like a fun environment to bring kids of all ages. So that will be fun to share that space with you. We also, or do you want to share about?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have our May giving campaign going on right now. And so we have partnered with 8 local businesses, one of which is Heather. She's offering a discount. Well, a percentage of her photo sessions are coming directly to Seeds, but anything from Tuesdays at Coffee Co., any location in the county, 4% comes to us. Butter and Bean Cafe is in Tanger Outlets. There's a cleaning service, photographer, wood cutting service, some crafter, like designers. So if you hop on our website, you can see all the ways that you can support us. And the purpose of this is to get us a van. Because you hear us saying about transportation needs. And so not only is it transporting people, but when I'm helping someone get furniture and household items from our space to their new apartment, they don't always have that extra money for even a U-Haul. And so if we can have that van and not our vehicle, where we can fit more stuff in this vehicle and get it transported, that would be fabulous. We actually were blessed with a great conversation this week too with Kime Chevrolet. They are connected to the CV school district and have kind of said, hey, we can work with you on this. We can offer you maybe even just a lease pricing that keeps you with an updated vehicle every 2 years. So we are raising money just to make that insurance and car seats and all the things, wrapping it so it looks like a Seeds vehicle happen for us. And then Michelle and I kind of giggle at the idea of us driving this thing around. So I'm sure there will be some kind of video out there on social media of her and me driving this thing. We will also be hiring a part-time social worker, a case manager. Those conversations are actually happening now. And so that will be in conjunction with the factory ministries. It will be a shared position. So they will be part-time at the factory, part-time at Seeds. So when they're at Seeds, they will be a Seeds employee functioning in the Conestoga Valley community. But there's a lot of kind of bleed on that Lincoln Highway corridor, where families that are in CV maybe transition down to Pequay Valley, maybe end up transitioning back. So just having that shared case manager that knows the area will be a gift, and will relieve Michelle of some of what she's carrying in this. And then we also shared with you our Chestnut Housing Project. I did not mention before, but there will be a big capital campaign coming up for that, with which Seeds will be encouraging as well, because that will cost quite a bit of money to make happen, and we want to really rally behind Chestnut Housing as a church and as a community to bring those funds together. Ephesians 5:2 says, "And walk in love, as Christ loved you and gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God."
So selfless love, the number one of our core values, is what we're all about and what our focus is today. And so just a couple things when we look at selfless love, what it actually means. It's things that we're trying to involve in all our programs, and it's things that every person who knows and loves Jesus should be walking through in their areas. And so the other person is the priority when you're talking about selfless love. It's not going to be convenient. It's not always going to be easy. It's certainly not always going to be in my comfort level or fit my schedule. But the other is the priority. They win the moment. The question of what benefits them, not what's easiest for me, is selfless love. Serving others, again, it isn't about me. It's about what's best for them. That's extra phone calls. It's research. It's looking on purpose for where the gaps are and what can I do to fill in for them. It's overcoming the self-focus that is our natural human instinct and remembering that Jesus washed feet. It is bending our schedules and our hearts towards others and towards who they are and who they're created to be. Looking at forgiveness and compassion, that's a big part of selfless love because it gets messy, right? When we're involved in people's situations, when people are involved in our situations. And humans make mistakes. And those mistakes hurt, and they can happen, and there are misunderstandings, there's patterns from trauma, there's all kinds of things. And so in selfless love, you have to lead with compassion. And you have to lead with forgiveness, knowing that we have great compassion on us from Jesus, and he is incredibly forgiving, right, of us. And so when we are carrying ourselves with selfless love, we have to lead with forgiveness and with compassion. And then with sacrifice. All of this is sacrificial. All of this is a dying to self. It's selfless. It's a renewing of our minds. It's a sacrifice, and in that, gosh, it's a joy. These sacrifices, these things are hard and messy, but it's where the good stuff is. It's where the joy is. And so love, right? Love is the foundation of all of this. Selfless love. 1 Corinthians 13:1 says, "If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing." So selfless love is where it's at. So all of this is only possible, right, when we are connected to the vine, when we're connected to Jesus, the one who gives us strength, who gives us wisdom, who gives us perspective of the other, who gives us a heart for the other. All of this is only possible. Selfless love is not about me. Jesus has a deep, unconditional love for me and for you. He went to, of course, incredible, sacrificial, selfless lengths for relationship. This is about relationship. This is what this S is all about. Selfless love like Jesus. So dig in with others. It's going to be messy. That's where the sacrifice comes. This is where the good stuff is. This is where the joy is. This is where you see and meet Jesus in new ways in your life and in the life of someone else. And so the question is, how well are we doing that with the people that we actually are even comfortable with? How well are we doing that with the people who are similar to us? And then, how are we doing that with those who are different? With those who might stretch us a little bit more to connect with, to connect deeper with? So selfless love, that's what today's about.
So as we kind of come to a conclusion in all of this, we just have some questions that I'm going to read just for you to kind of reflect on and think about and just be challenged by. What does that look like for you and for me to live a life of selfless love? It's going to look different for each of us. We're in different seasons. We have different communities, maybe different job schedules. But we can incorporate selfless love into all of it. So what does it look like? What does it look like for Faith Church to live a selfless love model to our community. I think we are doing that. How do we continue to do that, though, or even push into other ways that we could live selflessly into our community? What sacrifice do I need to make right now? Is there something that I'm doing selfishly in my habits, routines, life in this moment that needs to be reflected on and changed a little bit? And what gifts do I have to offer? What we see time and time again in our roles with SEEDS, this is not about me and Michelle. This is about each person showing up and giving their gifts. Like, I am not good at everything, Michelle is not good at everything, and so we need others' gifts to make this possible. We all need others' gifts in our lives to do things better, to do things well. So thank you. Thank you for inviting us to do this morning. It's lovely to have your support, even just in this way, to give updates and to let you in on what our day-to-day lives look like in these roles. And we just thank you. And we just hope for continued partnership with everyone, even though we will be in a different space, but we just would love your continued support. So thank you.